What's poppin', Rob Television? Welcome back to another reaction with your boy. As you can see by the title, man, yes, I'm back with another Michael Jordan, aka MJ reaction video. Now, this video is titled 45 Unbreakable Michael Jordan Records. Now, I did not know that Michael Jordan holds 45 records in the NBA, but then again, I'm curious to see because you will be amazed at some of the statistics that they keep in sports, whether it's basketball or football. So these might not even be official NBA records, but then again, they might be. So I'm very curious to see what records that he holds and what records that they say won't be able to, what records they say can't be broken. Because you know records are meant to be broken. At some point, every record is a possibility that it will be broken. So I'm just curious to see what records he holds that can't be broken. But MJ, I mean, hey, MJ was a different dude, man. MJ was a different breed, so it might be something that he did and only he could do. You know what I mean? But before we get this video, man, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, click that post notification bell to be notified on all things Rob Television. Let's check it out. All right, you guys, do me a big favor, man. Before you get into this video, if you haven't already, man, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. All the links will be down in the description. And if you wasn't notified on this from my previous videos, I also have a PayPal just in case you guys want to donate. Whatever the amount is, it don't matter. It could be 50 cents. You know what I mean? If you want to donate that, make sure you show me some love on that. PayPal link will be in the description as well. All my links for everything is in the description, man. Make sure y'all show that some love. Let's get into this video.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with a video. This time, once again, we're going to focus in on one NBA legend, that being Michael Jordan. And in my past videos, we look at some NBA records that are quote-unquote unbreakable. And for this video, we're going to spotlight Jordan and look at 45 unbreakable.
I give y'all one record in the NBA, and I'm pretty sure all y'all might even know before I even said that I personally think won't be broken again. And that's a 100-point game. I don't think nobody's gonna break that. That's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think about this.
Unbreakable Michael Jordan records. So with that being said, let's get into the video.
Make sure y'all subscribe and like. Show him some love. Show me some love too.
So for this video right here, looking at 45 unbreakable Jordan records, there really is no order or rhyme or reason where I place each record. So with that in mind, let's get into the list. So first up, for one of Jordan's best ever records, in 1992, he had the most points ever in a single playoff run at 759. Also in 93, he had the highest scoring average in a title run at 35.1 points per game. In the 91 finals, he had the highest assist average ever for a non-point.
One more thing too. Sorry to pause, but I just gotta get this off my chest. So, one thing about me, I would say, and I'm not trying to go into no long detail, I'm an unbiased, reactor or, fan. I got my players who I like, but I'm unbiased. I'm going to always give people credit where credit is due. And one thing I don't like that people say about MJ, how they always be like, oh, if he wasn't this, he wasn't this. All he could do was this. All he was doing, he just was more athletic. And it's like, bro, this man won 6 championships. So you mean to tell me that athleticism is the only thing that got him them 6 championships? You don't think leadership had nothing to do with that? You don't think being a good team player, you don't think pushing his teammates to be great? Don't get me wrong, the measures that he took to do it sometimes could be harsh, but at the end of the day, I mean, the championship speaks for itself. So I just say that to say that it's more to him than just the athleticism that people just try to push, because I feel like that downplays him as a player and what he actually could do. In simple terms, it's like when people say Floyd Mayweather, they be like, "Oh, Floyd Mayweather is is the best defensive fighter." It's like, bro, like at the end of the day, fighting is fighting. Whether he prioritizes the defense opposed to offense. You know what I mean? Like I just had to get that off my chest, man.
Point guard, his average in that series was 11.4. And speaking of the finals, Jordan to this day had the highest scoring average in the finals at 33.6 for a player who played at least 3 final series. In 93, he averaged 41.0 points per game versus the Phoenix Suns, the highest average in NBA history. In the past 30 years, no players even cracked 39 points as a final scoring average. Also looking at Jordan's finals resume, he had 3 games where he scored 45 plus points. No other player has more than 2. And we're looking at playoff scoring overall. Jordan had the most consecutive 10-point games and scored 10 plus points in every playoff game, that being 179. No other player in NBA history can say they've done that. And lastly, for our first segment, we have the fact that Jordan never scored under 15 points in a single playoff game, once again being the only player ever to accomplish that feat. So that right there was our first 9 records that I think will never be broken by any player in NBA history. As you can tell, Jordan was an all-time great scorer, and in the finals brought his A game every single time. Now looking at our next set of records, they're equally as impressive. The first one being that Jordan is the only player over 35
Let me get a
to win
thumbnail.
all 3 MVPs in a single season. That being the MVP overall, the All-Star MVP, as well as the Finals MVP. And in that very same season, 98, Jordan actually made more money than his entire Bulls team at $33.5 million. The second highest earning teammate on the Bulls roster had $4.5 million. And Jordan to this day is the only player ever to make more money than his whole entire team. Also in 88, he became the only player ever with MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and a scoring title in the same season. No one's done it before, and nobody's done it since. And looking at the defensive end, Jordan has the most blocks ever by a guard at 131. He also has the second most, and D Wade's in third place. Also on Jordan's resume, he has the most 200 steal, 100 block seasons at 2, no other player having more than 1. And in the playoffs, he has the longest streak ever of consecutive 20-point games, that being at 60. And lastly, for our second set of records, we have the fact that Jordan has the most playoff series ever, averaging over 40 points per game. In total, 9 players did it, Jordan being 5 of those times in NBA history. And looking at the playoffs overall, 10 times he was the playoffs leading scorer. And in 86, he had the most points ever in back-to-back games, scoring 63, as well as 49 for a total of 112. So once again, for those records, Jordan was an all-time great scorer, he was phenomenal in the playoffs, and on the defensive end, he's done some things we have never seen in NBA history. Now getting to the halfway point in this video, here's some more Jordan Unbreakable records. In Jordan's career, he's the highest scoring average at 30.1, with Wilt Chamberlain being barely behind him. And looking at the 03 season with the Wizards, he had 457 mid-range makes, the oldest player ever to lead the NBA in that category. I do want to note that year Jordan shot 45% from the mid-range, that was higher than T-Mac, as well as Kobe. And in addition to being a great mid-range shooter, Jordan was also phenomenal in the clutch, having the most game-winning buzzer beaters in NBA history at 9. And speaking of the highest ever, Jordan had the highest scoring average in NBA history for a Defensive Player of the Year winner at 35.0. No other player in NBA history even averaged above 30 points per game. And in Jordan's career, he had 8 seasons of 30-plus points, the most ever, with 7 of those being consecutive. And speaking of scoring, Jordan has the most championship seasons while leading the NBA in points per game at 6. No other player has more than 3, and there's never been a guard to do it besides Jordan. And looking at Jordan in his later years, in 98, in Game 6 versus the Jazz, he had 45 points. That is the most points ever in a player's last ever playoff game. And at age 40 in Washington, he became the oldest player ever to score 40 points in a basketball game, doing that versus the Nets. And also,
Hold up. I'm gonna have to go do a little bit more research and a little bit more reactions on the Washington Wizards MJ, because was he slept on? I'm gonna have to go do some more reactions to him.
and also in NBA history, he's the oldest player ever to score 55 plus points in a playoff game. So Jordan in his later years, the Bulls was the Wizards, he was still phenomenal and a very effective player. And looking at our next set of unbreakable records, Jordan once again has some pretty eye-popping numbers. As in his career, he has the highest scoring average for 16 different teams. No other player has more than 7. In NBA history, he has the most seasons ever leading the NBA in scoring, while being first team all defense with 9 total seasons. The only other player to accomplish that were Kobe as well as Jerry West. And during the 98 playoffs, Jordan was the NBA's leader in fourth quarter points scored at 35 years old. The oldest player in NBA history to lead the playoffs in fourth quarter scoring. And looking back to his days in Washington, he's still the only 40-year-old to average 20 points per game or more. No other player has done that in NBA history. And looking back to his prime, he had the most consecutive years leading the NBA in scoring at 7. And during his three-peat, he had 1,954 points, the most points ever during a three-peat run. And when looking at peak Jordan in the playoffs, he was simply unstoppable when it came to scoring the basketball. In NBA history, he has the most 55-point games at 5. No other player has more than 1. He has the most 50-point playoff games at 8. and the highest scoring playoff game ever at 63 versus the Boston Celtics. So once again, Jordan's records prove he was an all-time great scorer that nobody's come close to since or before. Now, looking at our last 9 Unbreakable Jordan records, these are my personal favorite for Jordan's overall career. So the first one we have is the fact that Jordan never went to a...
Now, that never went to a Game 7 in the finals was very, very, very impressive. I found that out from watching The Last Dance. And if any of you guys are Jordan fans who haven't watched The Last Dance, I'm pretty sure every Jordan fan in America watched The Last Dance because they came at a time where we really needed, because that's when the pandemic was first happening, so no sports was going on. So I'm pretty sure everybody who was a sports fan was tuned in. But that's an unbelievable stat to even think that he never even went to it. Not only has he never lost, which I'm pretty sure he's going to show that on the next, set of records that he never be broken, but he never went to a Game 7, bro. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, with my channel, I want to give all the legends their flowers because all of them deserve it. And I'm not going to ever make it seem like, I'm not going to ever downplay, like, Mike, Larry, Magic, or whoever I'm reacting to. I'm not going to ever come on here, or period, whoever I'm reacting to on my channel, I'm not going to ever downplay because everybody was great in their own way. But I just feel like Mike deserves, I feel like he do get his credit, but at the same time, a lot of people, for some odd reason, hate him. And I think a lot of it is just because of his success. So, hey, but then you got to get a man credit. At the end of the day, I don't care how you feel about him personally, whatever the case may be. As a sports fan, if you really know sports, you got to just tip your head off to the man. The man was great.
Went to a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. No other superstar in NBA history who's been to at least 3 finals and won all of them can say they've done that in their careers. Also, looking at Jordan in the finals, he has the most clutch points ever in a playoff series, that being 30 twice in 98 as well as 93. And when looking at 91, he has the most consecutive field goals made at 13. That 13th shot being the iconic layup where he switched hands and finished on the left side instead of the right. And looking at the 92 finals, Jordan had 35 points in the first half, the most ever in a finals game. Until this day, he's the only finals MVP with a perfect finals record, once again playing at least 3 finals. And in NBA history, he has the most MVPs ever, that combining finals MVPs as well as regular season MVPs at 11. And one of the craziest Jordan facts, he was only outscored by one player in his entire playoff career, that being Terry Cummings in his first ever playoff series. From that point on in Jordan's career, he was not once ever outscored in a playoff series, outscoring 269 playoff opponents all in a row. And looking at Jordan's most iconic game, you have to look at Game 6 of the 98 Finals. In that game, Jordan had 45 total points. The rest of the Bulls combined had 42. He is the only player in NBA history to outscore his entire team in a finals game, as well as a finals clinching game. And probably the best stat of all, Jordan never lost 3 games in a row from 1990 to 98. That's over 600 games where Jordan's team didn't lose 3 in a row ever. That right there is our 45th Unbreakable record, and once again it shows how dominant Jordan was in his playing career. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. In the future, I might do more videos like this, give you guys more facts, more Unbreakable records, and just dig deeper into NBA history and give you guys some more knowledge as well as information. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.
Jordan was a different breed, man. Like I said, I don't care about how you feel personally about him. You can't let that cloud up, cloud the fact that the man was phenomenal, man. Like, great and good is understatement. The man was phenomenal, man. But that is it for this video, man. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, click that post notification bell to be notified on all things Rob Television. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out to stay in game.